see here. I know that we are living through some really crazy times right now, and this is not our normal standard of learning or teaching. This is new to all of us. So we're just going to try and get through this together and do the best that we can. And I just want you guys to know, first of all, that I'm here for you as much as I possibly can be, and I'm here to support you. And if things tend to go a lot longer with the time that we're at home for learning, I wanted to be able to still teach you. So I'm testing out this idea of making some videos. So we'll see how this goes. And if this goes well, I have more videos planned and some more projects that I'm working on right now, so we can still be able to learn. And by the way, keep sending me in your projects. I love seeing them. And I especially love when I see you and your smiling faces with your projects. That makes me really happy. So please keep submitting your work. So today, what we're going to focus on is craftsmanship. And this is something that we've talked about in the past. Craftsmanship refers to how neat you are with your work, how much time you're taking with your work. Are you scribbling? Are you rushing through? And when you're doing artwork, you don't want to be rushing. You want to be able to take your time. Now, I know when you are in the classroom with your friends and it's supposed to be a little more relaxed, it's very easy to get distracted. But now that you're on your own, hopefully this is something you can focus in on and you'll see a difference in the quality of your work. Let's talk a little bit about that though. So one thing that we've talked about before is the pencil. We tend to have death grip on our pencil, which makes us press really, really hard. And when that happens and we make mistakes, it's very hard to erase our mistakes that way. So I would like you guys to start practicing holding your pencil with less of a tight grip, a lighter grip. So that way you're more likely to draw lightly. And I don't know how well you guys can see that on here, but the thing is, if you press too hard and you go to erase, then you end up not being able to erase very well and you leave marks all over your paper. And you don't want that. So the lighter you are with your hand grip and lighter you are with your pencil lines, the easier it is to fix your mistakes. Another thing I want to talk to you guys about is using the markers. We've talked about using markers in the past before. One thing about markers is I don't consider them like crayons at all. I do not like to see kids when they do this with their markers and they're scribbling with their markers like they think it's a crayon. The ink doesn't come out that well that way. It looks sloppy. It ruins the markers faster. The best way to use a marker, at least at this stage of our art careers, is to go line by line by line. That is the neatest way to be using a marker at this point. Okay? Look at how much better that looks compared to the scribble marks that we're making by thinking that it's like a crayon when it's not. So another thing I want you to point out is the shape of the marker. So this is the conical style tip. To make a wider line, you always want to tilt the marker a little more and you'll get a wider line, right? And if you want a skinnier line, you're going to want to focus more on the tip. Okay, so you can have two different styles of markers just in one. Right here. And the same thing goes with a marker like this. It's got the chisel tip, so use that to your advantage. If you need to color in a large area, lay down the whole part of that chisel tip to get a nice wide line. Or use the tip more to create a straighter or a thinner line. Okay? I'm going to be attaching some images of good craftsmanship quality things, the differences between scribbling and coloring neatly, with crayons, with markers. Well, that's the other thing. With crayons, of course, how could I forget this? Let's say you're coloring in that circle. We tend to want to just rush through it, and some of us don't color in the whole thing completely, and that doesn't look very neat. It's very sloppy that way. So when you have a shape, you have to make sure, and I like to use smaller little crayon mark strokes to fill it in, okay? And you want to fill in the whole shape, not just leaving all kinds of paper showing through. So it's really important to keep that in mind as well. Sometimes I'll color in a couple of different directions just to fill in the shape a little bit more. Okay? But it's really important to fill in the whole shape with the crayons. So here are some resources that I found on Pinterest that really illustrate well craftsmanship. Take a good look at these. And here we have creativity, neatness, colorful, and complete. Things you really need to keep in mind. All right, so now that we've gotten through some things about craftsmanship, I have an activity for you today. First of all, I got to ask you this. Are your parents driving you crazy? Are they making you do your chores, eating your vegetables, do your homework? Are your siblings annoying you? Because I'm sure that you guys are not driving your parents crazy at all. I'm sure you guys are being the perfect little angels that you are for me all the time. Anyway, to help you kind of get away from the craziness, we're going to do a little experiment. First of all, I want you guys to get a coloring page. Well, this is Bob Ross here, okay? And I want you to fold the coloring page in half. Now, I want you to color one half of the paper at a time where things are very hectic and crazy. Maybe the TV's on, you're at the kitchen table and your siblings are running around the table and your mom's telling you to hurry up because it's time for dinner. I want you to try and color in the situation where there's a lot of chaos and craziness, okay? Then, at another point in the day, I want you to flip the paper over. I want you to maybe go into your room where it's quiet and peaceful. Maybe you want to put on some relaxing music. Alexa, play some meditation music for me, please.
Sure. The station, Meditation, on Amazon Music.
Oh, see? So she's going to help me out here. Look at nice volumed, nice calm music. Or even, we were doing audiobooks. What about putting on an audiobook? And just then try and do your creativity that way and practice your coloring skills and your craftsmanship skills that way. And then I want you to compare the two sides and see which side turned out better. Let's do this little experiment, okay? All right, everybody. That's your art for today. And I will talk to you soon. Bye.